Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. This is we finally get to do it, our big in-game, spoiler-filled review. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Behind the Counter. I am Michael Boroff.
I'm Richard Garajon.
And we are taking a break from our Gem City Comic-Con coverage. The ban
Has been lifted.
The ban on Avengers Endgame's spoilers has been lifted. Thank you, Russo brothers, which we found out the reason why, which we'll talk about later. So yes, we are here to tell you our thoughts on Endgame. We got a chance to see it opening night, and it was one of those moments. This is the reason why I love movies like this, is when we went to go see it at the theater, it was packed.
Yeah, it was early packed too.
Yeah, we're like, oh, we'll get there an hour early and we'll get good seats. Nope.
They were already lining up.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, to see a movie like this in a crowd like that just really, to me, adds to the experience, because you get all the oohs, you get all the ahs, you get all the, and it was fantastic. Rich, what did you think?
Yeah, I still think it was a little fluffy for me, but I could have took a lot out and still made it work.
One of the things that especially since I'm such a Back to the Future and Doctor Who and time travel fan, is I got a lot of people who I know that were asking me, my opinion on some of the time travel stuff, and my first impression was, let it go. It's time travel. It's a superhero movie. Let it go. Don't overthink it.
It's not science fiction.
No, it's not. I think it was perfectly. I think the person who said it perfectly was the doctor. It was just wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Let it go. So that aside, I love the way that they approached the movie. It really, a lot of the things that they did in it really took me by surprise. The whole idea of the 5 years later.
Oh yeah.
That was like, oh, so this isn't
directly after. The opening.
yes.
Started basically right after the last movie.
Yes, and even that was one of those moments where being in a crowd really amplified it, because, again, warning, spoilers. When they confronted Thanos and Thor went for the head, you could hear that gasp throughout, like, seriously? Did that just happen, And it wasn't, it was one of those moments where it's like you looked around and everybody was just like, wow, But then then them jumping to 5 years later to see how the world had adapted to the snap.
Right.
That I really wasn't expecting.
Yeah, it was weird. The psychology behind all these people disappearing.
Yeah.
And stuff. It was kind of spread out there.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I thought one of the great moments in the movie was with Captain America and the support group.
Yeah.
Getting into the idea that, everybody's kind of gone off and done their thing. It was great to see that Cap was keeping it street level. He was helping people.
Yeah, because he was telling them to move on. It happened. It's time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
5 years later, yeah, it's time to move on.
Yeah. Oh, and even before that, the moment that got me was the very beginning of the movie with Clint.
Oh.
And I liked, it was a nice little touch too, that when they showed Clint with his daughter, when he was showing his daughter how to stand, they showed the ankle bracelet.
Oh.
Because it was just in that one little moment that answered so many questions, like, well, where was Clint during this, and where was Clint? He was on house arrest. He had a family. It was the same reason why Ant-Man was at home.
Right.
Because he was on house arrest. He has a family. He knew not to screw up because he didn't want to throw that away. And it was nice that they didn't have to give a lot of exposition about it. It was just, when it was like the same exact ankle monitor that Scott had in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that was very nice. And it was great seeing that, because we got to see in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hank and Janet and Hope, poofing, but we didn't get to see Scott's reaction.
Right.
But with Clint in that scene, we got to see a very personal level of reaction.
Because he turns around, they're all gone.
Gone. And that moment was like, oh man. I was continuously blown away throughout the entire movie. That was one of the things a lot of people had asked me right after I'd seen it was about the 3 hours. Never noticed it. Because everybody, the big memes and joke wars, oh, how you going to go to the bathroom? Oh, it's going to be something. I never noticed it. I really did. It kept pace so well.
I had to time exactly when I was going to get up to go get my free popcorn.
Yeah.
Because Marvel movies, or the Marvel movie that comes out before Free Comic Book Day, I always get a free popcorn because it's right after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I always get my free popcorn.
But yeah, it kept pace. It was great to see how all the characters were reacting with each other, seeing the toll it took on Nat.
Yeah.
She was there to pretty much like keep the team together.
Well, she became the leader, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. It was great to see Carol, and I really did love her explanation. When Rhodey was like, "Hey, we're all about that superhero life. Where have you been?" I liked her explanation because it was direct yet still flattering. She's like, "Look, this happened throughout the entire universe, and not every planet has the Avengers." Then it's kind of like, yeah, she got a point. All right, good, I think one of the biggest surprises was I'd made the joke about, it's like, knowing about seeing the quantum suits and everything that, it's like, yeah, man was going to be the real hero of the movie. Got to get props to that rat. I mean, let's face it, if it wasn't for that mount, for that rat, they'd have still all been, in therapy sessions and, killing people and, the Chinese underground, So it's like, props to the rat. Let's see that cosplay going. But seeing all these characters together, and Richard knows this more than anybody. Ant-Man's my boy, and I was so. There were legitimate moments where I almost embarrassed myself because I'd be sitting in a theater and Ant-Man would come out and he'd do something. I was like, yeah, ooh, people. And it was great because we have friends that were at the theater at the same time that we were watching it, and they said that we saw you stand. It was like okay. It's like all we saw was a silhouette, and we knew it was you. But it was great. It's like everybody brought a little bit, to the game. Rich, any big moments?
I just liked it towards the end when, the big action happened. They just made the movie, Like I said, some of the beginning stuff I think could have been cut down.
Yeah. One of the things that I really loved in the movie was we got to learn that Rhodey is a huge movie buff.
Oh.
Because it was great when they were talking with the Hulk about, time travel and everything, and they were listing off movies. You would have expected it to have been Scott because he just seems like a huge nerd. No, it was Rhodey. Terminator. Time Cop, Back to the Future. It was like him, just hit him with the movies.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine. Yeah, because Scott got that one in, but even Rhodey was like, yeah, And then later on, when they had gone back in time and they went to the world where Star-Lord had gotten the Power Stone, or I can't remember which one it was. It was the purple one. When him and Nebula are getting ready to walk into the temple or whatever, he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Temple of whatever. He goes, this is the part where there's all these booby traps, stone statues, spit spikes. I was like, oh, Rhodey is such a movie nerd. And there was a lot of really great moments between characters. The Hulk.
Oh.
I'd heard a lot of mix about the Hulk. I loved Banner Professor Hulk. I did. I think one of the big reasons why I really liked it was, how hadn't we seen enough of Hulk smash? How many movies did we get of Hulk smash? Where are you going to go with that,
Should be all of them now.
It should be all of them. I did like, though, and I liked that that Bruce was, that was one of the really nice things. It was nice seeing Bruce embrace the celebrity. It was like when the kids came up, it's like, smile, it was great.
No picture with Ant-Man, though.
Oh my God, that was freaking hilarious. And that's true too. As an Ant-Man cosplayer, that happens a lot more. That moment hit home with me. It's like, hey, "Hey man, want a picture with me?" And they're like, and then Hulk's like, "Oh, come on." He's like, "I don't want to take a picture with him." You know, but it was nice seeing Bruce be able to live out in the open as opposed to all the other movies where he was constantly hiding and afraid to go out. You know, we got to see him be him.
Yeah. It was a different take. So.
Yeah.
And it's straight from the comics, so it was comic canon. So.
Yeah. Oh God, this is just going to be my rundown of favorite Ant-Man moments. When they talk to Tony about the idea of the time travel.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, is it your whole idea focused around Back to the Future? He's like, no.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. And I think we've got to see so much being set up. I mean, this movie really had consequences.
Yeah. Besides the ending.
Yeah. We got to see Tony leave. And one of the great things about Tony's death was, especially if you rewind and you remember so much about his previous movies, I think it was like the third movie when he couldn't sleep.
Oh.
He was haunted with nightmares.
From the New York incident.
From the New York incidents, he couldn't rest. And they even mentioned it slightly again in Endgame when he realizes that he's figured time travel out. He's like, no, I'm just going to put it to the side. I'm going to put it to bed. And then even Pepper says, but will you be able to rest? Then at the end of the movie, when she tells him, you can finally rest. That was some good storytelling, because that was very layered.
Yeah, well, it's like all the movies are one big story.
Yeah. The one question we'll get into, but I wanted to ask you your opinion. When Hawkeye and Black Widow go to the world with
The Red Skull.
The Red Skull, the idea, and we got this from Infinity War, was that it was about a sacrifice.
Right.
Because Thanos, very reluctant, very honestly heartbroken that he had to sacrifice Gamora. But the thing about it is, though, when it was with Clint and Nat, there wasn't so much a sacrifice as it was a self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he'd...
Oh, yeah. Because he was supposed to basically sacrifice the loved one.
Yes, he was giving her...
Well, Hawkeye did drop her.
You are absolutely correct. I mean, it wasn't...
Because he was saving himself, because if he didn't let go of her...
They were both going to go.
Fall. Yeah.
See? That's why you talk to your friends. Because they were both so, adamant about, it's going to be me, And
the thing that's been floating around the internet, how does Cap return this stone?
I'm very curious about that too.
Especially since it's the Red Skull.
I want to see that deleted scene, because I think a lot of people have already seen that meme where it's like the Red Skull comes out. Greetings, Steve. Son of a bitch, you're still alive.
Because that has to be.
That has to be something. That had to have been something. It couldn't have been, because the Red Skull acknowledges that he remembers being the Red Skull, because he tells Thanos, that I was going after this. So all that had to have been, hey, it's you. I didn't think, that would have been great. But man, let's just get right down to one of the best moment, one of the greatest fight scenes ever. Well, before we go that, again, with a lot of the great character stuff, the stuff with Nebula and Tony in the beginning,
oh yeah,
that was great. That was these two people you would never have even imagined being together.
Let alone basically dying together.
Yeah, really bonding with each other. And then we got to see a great moment after Carol rescues them. Nebula sitting there, and Rocket sits down next to her, and he holds her hand, and it reminded me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy when Drax comforts Rocket, and he scratches his head. It was that great little moment right there, and so many great lines with Rocket too. It's like, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear, and even Rocket's like, I might be,
He kind of is.
Yeah, he kind of is. Man, there's just
The ending.
yeah. Let's go like right into the fight. That was one of the great moments in all of the Marvel movies. When it was a great callback, was Cap straps on that shield, bloodied arm, and then he hears in that earpiece, Cap, you there, Cap? Then you just hear, on your left. And it was like, that was one of the biggest payoffs, was hearing on your left, and then the portal opening. Oh man, that was great. That was when the crowd lost its collective mind. And I think even you pointed out, because it was like you knew when the fight started, this is it. This is the big moment. And I looked over at you, and you're like, we still have an hour left. It's like, oh, it's about to go down,
Yeah.
And we got to see everybody. There was Wong and all the students of the Ancient One.
Right.
And then we got to see everybody from Wakanda.
Everybody but the Defenders and Ghost Rider. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that would have been great if like Luke Cage would have showed up and been like, "What's going on?" Point me to the bad guys, I get,
Yeah.
And another great callback, of course, it's got to be about Ant-Man, that I absolutely loved, was when they're rallying the troops, and Captain America, gives them, the command, and it was Hope. She's like, "Oh, you got it, Cap," because you're like, wait a minute, this is the same woman like a movie ago that was giving Scott grief about, like, oh, Cap, is that what we call him, Cap? It's like, yeah, he's Cap, yeah, Cap, and it was so subtle too, just that look that Scott gave her, like, really, and we found, man, the women of the Marvel Universe will protect Spider-Man like nobody's business. Just as like protect the boy, and seeing all of them together.
He had the gauntlet.
He did have the gauntlet. That was let me ask you your opinion. I know I've had this discussion with a bunch of other people. Why did it have to be a snap? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were always so concerned. I know, he's the guy that, here at Alter Ego, we had this conversation.
I didn't think it had to. I mean,
But it was always so focused around the snap. It had to be a snap. Hulk had the snap, and then Tony.
unleash all the gamma rays and bring back the X-Men. I mean, never mind.
But it was just like the idea that, these gems were all powerful, and
Yeah,
they
you should have
still
been able to just put it on, because the mind gem should have been able to control the whole thing. You just did it with your mind. Everything
like,
come back.
like just a thought, But it was like they resorted to hand magic, And if there's anything
I
you learn,
think that's because a normal non-comic book reader wouldn't understand how it would have worked that way.
that's true.
You're talking, because this movie was for a general populace,
This is true.
and it was just a side effect that all fanboys would like it. So if they didn't have an activation code or key or something, a normal person wouldn't understand how it works.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
that's how I looked at it.
Okay.
That's why they said the snap, and that's how you made it work. Because
Yeah.
everybody thinks turning a key in a car starts your car. The snap activates.
I see. Again, this is why you talk to your friend. I like that. I'll go with that.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just, more, if you're not reading comics and you understand how mind games work and stuff,
Yeah.
you're not going to understand. You're going, huh? How did that happen?
And the other great moment just before then, though, is when everybody started to reappear
Oh,
in swing Spider-Man, because man, and it really did make sense, because when Bruce did the snap, he brought everybody back. This was the other question, because I'm a total complete nerd. When he snapped and he brought everybody back, you get the impression that, because of what Peter says, that they pretty much returned to the exact moment.
right.
Man, what about all those people that were in cars? What about the guy that was like on a bridge?
And their clothes came back.
Yeah. Well, they would, because it wasn't just a person.
Yeah,
it was the
that's true.
whole. It was the
dust,
whole
yeah.
thing. But what about that guy that was, sitting on the toilet?
The helicopter that crashed outside of.
Yeah. So like the helicopter. Okay. The pilot was here, got snapped, and then.
Or how about the guy that didn't get snapped in the helicopter when it crashed?
Oh, that would have sucked. Like, bruh, where.
Ah,
So like
we're
when.
getting too Nick.
So like when Nick Fury and Maria came back, they were standing in the middle of the street. What happened if there was a car parked there? Did they reappear in the car? Question again. Time. The same answer I gave with time travel. Let it go. But it was nice that they paced it out. They timed it where it wasn't just they all showed back up.
Yeah. It was like a wave after wave.
Yeah, they had to wait for their moment, to find everybody.
It's called dramatic writing.
Yes. But man, when Peter swings in and he's Peter just and Tony just like bring it, I was like, oh, because again it ties back to Spider-Man when him and Tony are in the limousine together.
Oh,
and he
yeah,
leans
yeah.
over, he's like, I'm not hugging you, we're not there yet. Like you said, it was like so many. Like, they kept perfect track of all the little moments they wanted to bring back to that.
Yeah. Like I said, it was one big story, supposedly.
Mhm.
So now I hope they can just go in a ton of different directions, have all these stories now.
Yeah, because it's really opened up a lot of questions about the future, because we saw from the end that in Return. Oh, wait a minute. We're missing one of the big moments.
But
Cap with Mjolnir.
oh yeah.
I think it was one of those things that like fanboys were expecting, but there was just so much going on that when it actually did happen, you're like, oh. And I loved the fact that Thor was excited about it. You know what I mean? Like,
I always knew that.
he was like, I knew it. It wasn't like, and
Well, he moved it on the table.
he did.
I think Cap. I still think Cap didn't do nothing.
Exactly. That was one of the fan theories way back in Age of Ultron, was that when he nudged it, he knew he could move it and was like
Didn't want to.
didn't want to, because that was
Because Thor's ego is so.
especially at the time. And oh man, we can't even go on about Thor. Lebowski Thor. I have got so many friends that are just already. I've got friends that are having the wigs already braided and everything. I have so many friends with the beards and I love everybody. I got one too with the beard. Guys like, I can cosplay Thor. And man, Cap picked that hammer up and he knew how to use it. It wasn't just like it was like, if I throw it, does it come back? Oh no, he's bouncing it off his shield. He's lightning and everything. And that was a great moment with him and Thor when they switched, and Cap had Stormbringer and Thor had Mjolnir. It was like, no, you get the small one. It was like, and there was a lot of really great lines in this movie too.
Yeah.
But man, epic fights when the big ship is firing down on everybody, and then all of a sudden you see the guns turn up. It's like, what's going on? And here comes Carol. Pow,
Short hair though.
Well,
Sorry, had to throw that in there.
it goes back with, even with Natalie, it seems like that's one thing movies have never, ever been able to, it's like one trope that movies have never been able to get over. Oh, we want to show the passage of time? Change their hair.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got short hair now.
It's a cliche.
Years must have passed by. What about us? Huh? How do you show me passing of time? Beard. This is true. Yeah, this is true.
Look at Thor.
Yeah. Oh, so that was such
He's
a great
become
moment.
his daddy's boy.
Oh yeah. The fight scene was completely epic. I've gotten a chance to see it more, and this is definitely a movie that bears multiple watching, because I think if you're like us, the first time we watched it, it was so much shock and awe that there was so many little things that that you might not have picked up the first time.
Yeah, I got a ticket for next week. So. Of course, I'm going to see it in Dolby Cinema. So.
Oh God, man. But yeah, it was it was almost like it was the Russo brothers' way. This movie was really like the Russo brothers' way of saying thank you to the fans
Yeah.
for sticking with us for these 20 some odd
22
movies.
years.
10 years.
10, yeah.
22 movies. It's like,
That's true.
here's everything you would have wanted to see. Thank you.
Then they just added a ending scene to the movie now this week. The
Which-
Spider-Man trailer.
Oh,
That's
this
become
is-
the official
Yeah.
after credit scene now.
And that was nice because that was one of the first questions that me and you had was like, at the end of the movie when they're showing everybody going back to their lives and everything, we see Spider-Man going back to school and there's all of his friends. You know, so like, well, wait a minute, wouldn't they be 5 years older? It's like, no, they acknowledge. I mean, half of the population of the universe, odds are like all of his friends were going to get it.
Yeah. Well, it was just convenient.
And I would like to see in the future, I would like to see maybe one or two of them
Probably
having.
maybe what's her name that went off to college, maybe she's 5 years older.
Oh,
The Vulture's daughter.
No,
Yeah.
no, MJ.
No, MJ's same age. The Vulture's daughter.
Yes. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't think of her name.
yeah.
Because they were talking about the Vulture and her actually probably age.
I could see that. Yeah.
But we'll find out. The trailer dropped, so.
Yeah, because what was it like a week ago as of filming this? It was the Russo's brothers officially tweeting that the
ban is lifted as
the
of
ban
Monday.
the ban is lifted, and we found out the real reason why. It's like we really want to put out this trailer, but it is a spoiler.
They had 2 solid weeks. Avengers made $2.2 billion worldwide, sunk the Titanic.
Wow.
Well, technically sunk the Titanic.
Yeah.
If you really add the money up right, Titanic still made a lot more, but
Yeah. Oh, but the fanboys aren't done yet, though, buddy.
I know.
Holy smokes, man. You can still, what is it, like 2 going on 3 weeks later, you can still drive by almost any movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
And man, those seats are still packed.
It should be interesting to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talk about what the future of the Marvel Universe is going to be. We got to see Cap passing on the shield to Sam, which I think that moment was great. It surprised a lot of people. I was a little surprised that it didn't go to Bucky.
Right, but I don't think it was right.
You're absolutely right, because
The MCU Bucky.
the MCU Bucky, it really did make more sense to see it go to Sam because Sam was more in the public eye
Right.
than the Winter Soldier was. Is because the idea that the Winter Soldier becomes the new Captain America, you're like, wasn't
Who's
he an assassin?
Who's he?
Yeah, wasn't he an assassin? It really did, and I really cannot wait to see more. Well, I shouldn't say more. I can't wait to see
It happened.
Sam as Cap. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a great run in the story.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to see, like, the first few minutes of the new Captain America, if they do a movie, him trying to learn how to throw that shield.
Yeah, because
'Cause
we talked about that last time in the comic book. How can he even pick the shield up?
Yeah.
But of course, it should be light. It's made out of that vibranium stuff.
Yeah, because
so-
he's not the only person to pick it up,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
But, seeing the 2 Caps fight, that was so great. It's like, I can do this all day. And he's just like, yeah, I know. And that was another great way to see how Captain America has progressed because, it just seems like a year ago we heard Cap saying, language, and then there's Cap like, oh. There's so much to look forward to. The one beef that I will give, and it is Ant-Man related, was when Scott comes back to the world and he finds his daughter.
Oh yeah.
She looked like she was way older than 5 years older than she was from Ant-Man and Wasp. That girl in the movie was like a teenager,
Yeah, I don't know. The time frame is kind of weird.
Yeah, which does make me wonder because there's a lot of talk about what's going to be going on in the Marvel Universe. The next phase.
Right.
A lot of us would like to see, not only new Avengers, with Sam and all this,
The Young Avengers.
the Young Avengers.
Or Champions.
I honestly don't know which one. I think I want to see the new Avengers
Yeah.
because
Or just all of them.
Just all.
We got
it doesn't
Disney.
even have
We
to
got
be-
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much stuff. I mean, we got WandaVision. And got all this stuff coming. You know, it's going to be everywhere.
But we got to see the introduction. Well, not the introduction. We got to see Hawkeye with his daughter, who was very proficient with the bow.
Right.
We've got Casey Lang, who is now of the age that she's always expressed that she wanted to be the superhero.
And we got Photon floating around.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
And the other one too was at the funeral scene when they're going through and they're showing everybody.
Oh yeah.
The young boy from Iron Man 3 was there,
Yeah.
which has a lot of people wondering. It took me a while to figure out who it was, but it was like, why? I mean, not that Tony wasn't important to him,
Yeah.
but Tony was probably important to like a lot of people. Why was he specifically there?
He's probably been giving him scholarships or something. Who knows?
This is true. That would have been nice if he'd introduced him to Peter. It's like, Peter, this is,
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of things that can be going on. I think this is the perfect time to segue into
The Spider-Man.
the Spider-Man. Just this last week, the latest Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped.
And is on in game now.
Yeah.
In theaters. So stay past the credit if you want to see if you haven't seen it.
Oh, that I did not know.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you were just
No,
like me and
no. As of this weekend, it is now the after credit scene. As of Friday night.
Oh, that is
That's what I was
awesome.
talking about.
Oh,
So
I thought
so now you can stay in the theater, watch it past the credit, and then the Spider-Man trailer will come on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sort of like which one was it? Captain America: Civil War. You saw the trailer for.
And, I think it was.
It was one of the trailers was on afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is now
Mm-hmm.
in theaters. So
But yeah, we got to see where Peter Parker's at in his life right now. It looked
Going on
like
vacation.
Going on vacation. It looked like he was really trying to get back to his life.
right.
Everybody's seen that. It was no shocker that, no pun intended, that Mysterio was. I don't want to say the villain anymore, the antagonist
Yeah.
of the movie.
Could be. I don't know. We don't.
I
really
still
know
think
yet.
he's going to be. Yeah.
I still think so too, but it didn't really specify that.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be a hero saving from the four elements. So.
Yeah.
But or is it like Mysterio, just an illusion?
Yeah, because that was one of the theories going around because they dropped the word element, the elemental, and it was like, oh, because everybody's already in a fever pitch about what's the next big, and in the last phase it was Thanos. What's going to be the next? And it's like, oh, the elemental, it's like, or it could be complete BS.
That could be. Yeah. I think it's just. Oh.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I think it's complete BS, but that trailer did. With one word, opened up a whole barrel of monkeys. Multiverse.
Yeah, and there was even a clip on one of the late night shows that even expanded that, and he actually name dropped 616 and 870 for Earth identification, and thus the Mysterio could be the one from the Secret Wars, because that is the same Earth, the Mysterio from Secret Wars that starts the Secret War, the newest Secret Wars. So. Is that just an Easter egg to throw up fanboys in a whole nother tizzy, or what?
They have been known to do that before. And
Because trailers sometimes don't even have real stuff from the movies.
And that was one of the clever things that the Russo brothers did is after they released the final Endgame trailer, then they kind of came out and said that, a lot of this stuff's not even going to be in the movie. It was.
Yeah.
It was. It was a complete double red herring. It's like, here's some stuff. It's not in the movie, but it was in the movie. It's like,
Or it cannot be.
or it cannot be. But yeah, just that one word, multiverse, has got everybody's.
Well, that would make sense. It would help Sony out in the long run, because Sony needs to use the multiverse for their movies.
Yeah.
That would explain where Spawn is at, where the actual, Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. The animated show was great, and I hope they can keep going with that. So.
Yeah, and the idea of the Fantastic Four, the X-Men.
Yeah, the Fox properties.
Yeah, we don't have to I think it was you. We don't have to directly introduce them into this particular Marvel universe.
It could just be a good story. Just
Yeah.
Just tell a good story. I mean, Legion's third season is coming out. The trailer looks, wow.
Legion. Oh,
I mean, I just want to throw that out there. I mean, it's just its own universe now.
man, that is a show in and of itself. Legion, literally, one of the best well-written shows out there that will completely
It's
just.
still slipping under the radar because I don't think people's really picking up on
I
it.
don't either, because I've talked to even really good comic book fans. It's like, man, what do you think of Legion? Are like, eh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. It didn't look interesting, you know.
And then we got over on Hulu all the new stuff they're getting,
Yeah,
and that's supposed to be part of the multiverse, you know.
Yeah.
So, Ghost Rider from Shield's getting its own series. Who knows? I think this Spider-Man movie is just going to be the can open.
So, before we run into the 1 hour mark, because I know there was a lot of stuff that
We talk too much,
I know,
folks.
I know there was a lot of stuff we could have talked about in Endgame, and believe me, if you've seen the show and you know him, I'm reining it in, because I could have just gone on minute by minute, because I've gotten to see it multiple times, and there was just so much stuff to love. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I got everything I wanted to. I got to see everything I wanted to in it. It's got me as excited for the future of the MCU as I was 10 years ago when Nick Fury first walked in on Iron Man and said something about the Avengers initiative. That's how excited I was. And that's the great thing about this movie is the last 10 years, when it really got the ball rolling, everybody had an idea where it was going. The Infinity Gauntlet, but now we're a blank slate.
Yeah.
And I'm just as excited for that. We would love to know what you thought of the movie. Is there anything that you picked out that you think that we might have seen? Any fan theories that you have, especially with the future of the MCU? Richard, where can they get a hold of us at?
The main place to go to is undergroundvideonetwork.com, and make sure you go to our YouTube channel. This is very important. Subscribe. That way you get our episodes, and you can comment there too.
I know we're finally becoming those people. Hey, buddies, hit that like and subscribe button.
But you got to.
Yeah. What's up, true believers? It's your boy. No, man. If you want to listen to a couple of adults talk about comic books, man, this is your place. Even, yeah. But thank you for watching, and please, like he did say, in Aussie, hit the subscribe button, like us on Facebook, share all that other stuff, retweet, MySpace, all that hullabaloo. Thank you very much for watching.